Hello everybody, Star Wars 35 here. I am back with another video, and today I will be talking a bit more about Supreme Leader Snoke. I have been researching a lot about this lately, and I just uploaded a video about how Darth Maul could be Snoke. And like I said in the video, there are a lot of loopholes in that theory, and it just doesn't seem right. Another thing I noticed was the scars that Snoke has on his face. Darth Maul wouldn't have sustained those kind of injuries. He wouldn't have even really gotten them from a fall like that. The injuries that Snoke has on his face are more of almost like a cut, not a impact damage. But the scars that he does have on his face are very similar to the scars that Anakin Skywalker has, Darth Vader. In Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader asks his son, Luke Skywalker, to take off his helmet so he can look upon him with his own eyes. And when Luke takes off that helmet, we can see that he's got some really bad scarring and injuries. One of which is a long, deep, almost like a dent or a crack in his head. And Snoke has that same scar. I would say almost even the same length. The one on Snoke, I think, might be tiny bit longer. I'm not saying that Snoke is Darth Vader, but it is definitely up in the air. Another thing I wanted to mention was also Darth Plaguis the Wise. Darth Plaguis the Wise is one of the most powerful Sith to ever lived. I truly believe that Snoke is Darth Plaguis. It's either Darth Plaguis or Darth Vader. It's either one. I have a ton of information to confirm that it is Plaguis. One thing that I did notice was Snoke, it looks almost, when they start talking to Snoke, it almost looks as if he's in a hologram or possibly even a ghost form. Now, I know it's not a hologram. It looks as if he's a hologram, but he's not. A hologram is more of a bluish color that looks as if it forms like a grid pattern around the person who's appearing in the hologram. It's a light blue grid, and it's light blue. This was not light blue. It's almost as if he's shining, as if he's a spiritual form. Now, Darth Plagueis the Wise could stop people from dying. He was so powerful with the Force, he could save his loved ones from dying. His apprentice killed him in his sleep, Darth Sidious, Emperor Palpatine. I was thinking, what if he actually was able to save himself from dying? What if he was able to he actually died and brought himself back, or he was able to save himself, just not well enough. Possibly he died and was able to bring himself back to life with him being a spiritual form, which is why he would be glowing. And then he trained Kylo Ren to take on the blah blah blah. You get the idea. Another thing I wanted to mention was when Kylo Ren and General Hux are talking to Plagueis or Snoke. In both scenes where Kylo Ren is talking to him alone and then Hux and Kylo Ren, there is a certain eerie music in the background, almost like a deep, dark vocalization. And the first time I had ever heard that vocalization was in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, one of my favorite movies. And Emperor Palpatine, at the time Chancellor Palpatine, because they don't know he's a Sith Lord yet, he's telling Anakin the story, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. And while he's telling that story, that same deep, dark, eerie vocalization is playing at the same time in both scenes. Coincidence? I think not. That is not a coincidence. I think that it's hard to say if it's Plagueis or Sidious because he's telling the story about Darth Plagueis and that music is playing. But Palpatine is kind of the main center of attention there. I really think it's either Plagueis or Sidious. Sidious would make, it just seems Sidious would make more sense than Plaguis, because the only time throughout the whole 6 movies we ever hear of Plaguis, Darth Plagueis the Wise, is in the 3rd movie. Otherwise, he's never mentioned. And also, we see Darth Sidious in pretty much every single movie except for 4 and 5, but he's definitely mentioned in both of them. We see him in 4 movies and hear about him in 2. So, I don't know. This whole Snoke thing is definitely a mystery. We will find out soon. Like I said, I think in my other video. We will find out in December. I'm really excited. I'm pumped up for the movie. Yeah, it does seem it could be Plagueis or Sidious. I'm thinking if I really had to set my mind on one of them, which would be very, very hard for me to do, I really can't. I don't know. I want to choose Plagueis and I want to choose Sidious. It just Plagueis. I mean, sorry, not Plagueis. Sidious was thrown down a shaft, and Sidious wouldn't have had the injuries that Snoke has. He's got a cut deep on his forehead, like really deep, like right on the top of his head down to the top of his forehead. Really deep cut. Plagueis would not have, or sorry, not Plagueis, I keep doing that. Sidious would not have gotten that kind of injury. He would not have gotten that kind of injury from falling. I was going to say that the electricity he was flowing could have hit him and made his skin white, but then I realized, wait, he's already got white skin, and so does Snoke, so that's also a similarity that we could use. And Darth Plagueis the Wise was a Mun. Muns did not really have white skin. They have more of a lightish, really light gray, not so much of a white. And Muns had tall heads, like really tall heads, thin and tall heads. Snoke clearly does not. He looks as if he could even have a human head, like the size of a human head. So, yeah, I think that it's either Plagueis or Sidious. Sidious definitely does make more sense. I think I'll leave the debate here. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Star Wars 35, and may the Force be with you.